Hello, dear sister. I am going to do a little continuation on my previous video blog, which I think was called something like, oh God, I don't know, bringing 5D to your 3D tools, something like that. Um, and I want to do a follow-up because Sylvia, who commented on the previous one, said something really insightful and, just sort of helped me put it into a more clearer perspective. She just summed up what I said, and that I'm saying it's now time to focus on the hows and not the outcome, which is a paradigm shift in the New Age community, especially if you're one who um, prescribes the law of attraction. You know, the law of attraction says just focus on the outcome and not the hows. And I can't knock the law of attraction because that was a huge part of my spiritual journey when I started it 11, 12 years ago. But it's limiting. The law of attraction, oh, I don't know if you can hear me, I was covering that up. The law of attraction is limiting because it teaches you, in my opinion, to be afraid of the bad feelings. Law of attraction is a lot of, speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil, and you can be missing a lot like that. And for a long, long time, I was just in this delusional, other world, thinking if I had the right thoughts and I was always positive that nothing bad would happen. Well, if you're on a spiritual journey, that's not what it's like at all. In fact, if you're on a spiritual journey, after the initial honeymoon period, which can last, I don't know, months, couple years, after that, it can really get difficult. Um, Anyway, the law of attraction does say, focus on the outcome to all other, exclusion, but don't worry about the house. And now we're in a time where we're being told to even sort of let go of those outcomes because that might not be our highest path. It's really an ultimate surrender, and there are so many things we have to surrender in this spiritual journey. But letting go of the outcome and just aligning with the highest possible timeline um, is it's freeing, it's liberating, even though it is so difficult, because this whole time we thought we knew exactly what we wanted, and if we just focused on it and believed in enough and had faith enough, that it would be given to us because we earned it through our faith and our goodness. And hey, that's me. That's definitely me. Now, I'm going to share something with you that's makes me feel very vulnerable, but it's my truth, and I just got to get it out there. So, I can relate with many women. I did go through a difficult period of trying to conceive. I had a couple of miscarriages, so I understand that whole part too. But I also understand what it's like to want something so badly and trying to do anything to get it. Um, and not only not getting it, but feeling farther away from it than ever. So for many of you, this is, motherhood is your ultimate goal. This is your eye on the prize. For others, it could be a soulmate relationship, or it could be like, abundance. Um, for others, it could be a health. We all have all of those issues to some varying degree because we're human, so we're all working on those things. But there's going to be one primary one that really is your goal, your eye on the prize. And I know for many of you watching this, it's having your spirit baby. For me, my eye on the prize, after I've had all these children, and that was my eye on the prize for a while. But frankly, my whole life, it's been about my body. It has been about my body. And I say it in health. I've always wanted really good health, but I always wanted to look damn good too. And it's funny because I I had a eating disorder when I was a teenager, and before my eating disorder, I did have exactly the body that I wanted, so I mean that's a mouthful right there. That's a mouthful right there. I already had what I thought I wanted, but I didn't know it was good enough, even though it was already perfect at the time. And so my quest for the perfect body and perfect health started with me in my teen years. And it's something I've gotten even farther and farther away from the more I've chased it. And I say this because I know that many of you that have been trying to conceive, you feel like you've been chasing it, but you feel farther away than ever. Because you know what, your body and all the realities around you is supporting you with this sacred struggle, So your body may be breaking down, you know, your age isn't on your side anymore. You've tried this and this and you feel farther away than ever. And so for me, you know, I went from having this, you know, perfect teenage body, and then for many years I was a personal trainer. You know, I made my living perfecting people's bodies. Um, you know, I did my master's thesis on body image, you know, just trying to understand the psychology around body and stuff like that. And I have to say that, you know, I started the spiritual journey searching for unconditional love. But then when I started getting my own intuitions and validations from outside sources that, oh yeah, a light body, you know, your perfect biology comes with this. I mean, I was on board. I'm like, ah, man, so spiritual journey is how I get the perfect body, you know? And many women could be thinking, oh, the spiritual journey is how I get my spirit baby. But it's just the main character in the sacred struggle. It's the sacred struggle. And it doesn't mean we're doing anything wrong. Absolutely not. This is just the path we're taking to find out our ultimate truth. Oh God, there's so much packed in here that I could say. But yeah, this is the path. This is the path we've taken. And it's our lack of that is telling us our absolute truth. So you know, back in 2010, I got this intuition about the light body, and then it was validated from outside sources. And I want to say Lauren Corgo, especially, she and I are like right there with it, and her body was her straight sacred struggle as well. Again, we all have different sacred struggles in many areas, but there is one main one. For me, it's the body. And so in 2010, I knew I'd be going through this ultimate transformation. Um, and in 2010 is when I started gaining weight for no reason. And then 2013, I knew there was going to be a transformation. I knew my physical transformation was imminent. I just knew it. I absolutely knew it. I could feel it. And I was right, because that's when I really started gaining weight, and that's when I really started aging. And you can look back at my 2013 videos if you have them. I look different. I look younger. I'm thinner. I'm more vital. I've been going through this deconstruction phase for many years now, and for many years I feel farther and farther away from perfect body, perfect health, you know, just vitality. And just as many of you have dreamed about your spirit babies throughout the years, I've dreamed about my body's abilities, of what it can do and what it looks like. So, you know, it's like pre-light body communication. So this whole time when I'm talking to women who are having, you know, such trouble conceiving and want more than anything to have the spirit baby, I can relate, because more than anything, I want this light body that has been in my mind and in my cells for years now. And so we come to a place where we feel farther away than ever. And that's when we have to realize that we are already complete as we are. And it sounds trite, it sounds just like a little platitude, but it's a huge part of this. So, you know, this goal has gotten us where? I mean, where has it gotten us? In the physical realm, we feel farther away than ever. But if you look down here in the truth in your core, you can say, oh, I've been perfect the whole time. I've been beautiful the whole time. I've been complete the whole time. And again, it's going to be different for everybody how they get there. But there's a quote, and I don't want to take the time to look at it, but it says something like this, that, you know, the paradox is that when we accept exactly where we are is when transformation begins. But it's funny, I was just talking about this with my soul sister that I talk about all the time, Carrie. You know, she knows and I know that this, you know, life we're living is not the dream. It's not our highest, it's not our highest version of ourselves right now. How can we accept where we are and yet still know that we will embody that highest version of themselves? And that's the question for all of us right now. How can we accept where we are right now and know that we are evolving into the highest version of ourselves? How can we be complete right now? How can we acknowledge that completeness? So anything, this is circling back around to using the hows and not focusing on the outcome. So for me in particular, you know, for the perfect body, you know, I've known how to do that through exercise and nutrition. I've known, and that was some of the things that was ripped away from me back in 2000, I would say 2011, 2012. Like, nope, this stuff is not going to work for you anymore. So I know for me personally, eating less, exercising more has no effect on my body right now. It's not supposed to. And I could talk about the body more, you know, like how many of us will gain weight on this spiritual journey because we're anchoring so much light and bringing in so much light. It's all part of it, but it's also been part of what I've had to fight as my own dragon. So, sisters, I have seriously gained 25 pounds in 4 years, and aged like a decade. Seriously, in 4 years. So I know this is not just you know, being a certain age or not taking care of yourself. It's nothing like that. It's deeper. It's absolutely deeper. So anyway, recently I was thinking, what would it be like to get on the treadmill again, not knowing that it's not going to give me the same results that I used to get. You know, going on the treadmill for me was just a chore, means to a cause, you know, calories in, calories out, burn, 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 burn. But using the 3D tools with a 5D consciousness, I've been on the treadmill most days this month with the intention of bringing life force into my body. Just bringing a divine life force into my body. I don't have this goal of I have to do this many miles and burn this many calories and I want to lose this many pounds. I mean, granted, yeah, I would love to, but I know that's not how it works for me right now. But my intention is just to bring divine life force into my body using the 3D tool as a treadmill, of a treadmill. And it's been amazing for me. And again, this seems so silly talking about this in relation to spirit babies and spiritual journey, but it's a big thing. And it's not a shallow thing. It's not a vain thing. We're here in these human bodies, and we have to feel at home in them. And I have not felt at home in my body since I was 15. So that's a long time. And that is one of my intentions, to feel at home in my body. I feel more at home when I'm moving it. You know, it just feels better. But in the past, where I would use the treadmill to strive and strain and push, my immediate conversation with my body getting on the treadmill was, I'm just going to be gentle with you. And you tell me what you want and what you don't want. Nothing attached here. Let's just enjoy each other. And sisters, I have to tell you, it's been my favorite part of the month. My favorite part of this very, very challenging month. I mean, December is really, really fucking challenging. But being on this treadmill that used to be a chore and a means to an end is now the best way for me to love and be present in my body and bring divine life force into it. So it doesn't matter how long I'm on it. I'm not even on it that long. You know, I'm up there 30 minutes, but it doesn't matter. I could be up there 5 minutes just with the focus of bringing love and divine life force into my body and just having a conversation with my body as we're doing it. And so it's what, the 18th today? I've been on it, you know, 13 out of 18 days. And In the past, that would mean I would have lost like, like 5 to 7 pounds, but no, nothing like that. There's nothing like that right now, but that doesn't mean that there won't be some physical result. But right now it's about bringing life force into my body and using the 3D tool, not focusing on the outcome because I don't know what it is. In our limited thinking, we don't know what the highest outcome is right now. We just don't know. And if we limit it by thinking we know, then we won't get to something that's beyond our imagination. And that's what we want to go right now. We want to go beyond the mind, beyond the imagination. So anyway, I'm sharing that with you just as an example of a 3D tool and how you bring a higher consciousness into it, not really knowing why. I don't really know the full reason of why I'm doing this, except that it just feels good. And I'm liking having this time just to focus lovingly on moving my body. So where it brings me, I'm very interested to find out. Maybe it's just a day by day way for me to feel in touch with my body. But that's the thing, we don't attach to where we think we're going. We're just in the moment, taking those little steps of divine action. And it's not linear. It's not linear. And again, our minds are so linear, we don't even know what that means. Being on the treadmill, it used to be, oh, you do it for this long, and in 3 months you'll look like this. It's not like that anymore. Just like, okay, this is getting long, but I don't care. Just like tracking the cycles, that's linear. We're going beyond the mind. And now I'm going to answer a question from someone who had a question a couple video blogs ago. And this is a good example of it too. She was asking, what are the reasons behind our cycle sometimes being a little late? And it's so frustrating when you're trying to conceive because you have all these hopes that if you're late, then you're pregnant. But what's happening there is it's showing you where you're still attached. So, if you're 1 to 3, days late, what I can tell, and this won't be the same for anybody, but it's the same for people that are drawn to this information. It's showing you where you're still attached, keeping track, controlling. Just let the cycles go. That's what we're supposed to do right now. Let the cycles go. Let the linearity go. I say it all the time, but spontaneous ovulation can happen any time, and it has nothing to do with where you are at a certain time of the month. It just has to do with divine timing, if the vibration's right, if the energy's right. So that's just a very quick answer for, what is the spiritual reason behind this of late cycles. It's showing you where you're still too attached, where you're still trying to control things, where you just have to let that go. So that's really what this is all about. So we bring our higher consciousness. Before I get on the treadmill, I talk to my body. I say, okay, body, you know what? We're just going to be really gentle. I talk to my body. What do you want to do? You want to do this? You want to do that? My motivation is just to bring divine life force to you. And then from that, it just feels wonderful. So any area of your life where you feel you need to bring a life force to it, or if you have to surrender an outcome, if you need to go back and do something that you've let go because it wasn't feeling good. I mean, I let go of the treadmill and, structured exercise a long time ago because, it used to mean I was over controlling my body, and then it used to mean I can't control my body anymore, so what's the fucking point? And now it means something different. I'm just bringing love into the body. So anyway, I do feel vulnerable sharing that with you, but that's my truth. And how can I feel comfortable and beautiful where I am right now? Because I always have been. I've always been complete. How can you feel comfortable and beautiful where you are right now, even if it's uncomfortable? How can you find comfort in it and know that it's okay? Because when we truly accept where we are, truly, then that's when the change happens, and that's the work we have to do right now. All right, this was long, but I had to get it out. I hope it's helpful. I love you.